Okay, the stream is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're going to play Apocalypse Keys.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yay!
Yay!
I am Christiana Ellis, and I am the Keeper of Doors. Our players tonight, Millie Katie as Lady Dana,
Hello.
Nobilis as John Deere,
I'll take a note.
David Archambault as Pandorum,
Let's destroy something.
Paul Weimer as Ningle,
In another distant time role campaign in place, a bard would say a dread library we division now face.
and we are currently short Jason Banks as Myron, but we expect him to be joining as soon as he can. But in the meantime, let's just, because we're still early in the campaign, I would like, perhaps let's start with a quick little montage of our monstrous characters. You have been tasked by Division with investigating the presence and purpose of its presence of a extra dimensional parasitic library that has apparently attached itself to Division headquarters and is consuming information and has all sorts of strange properties, and you're trying to figure out why, and ideally to also make it leave. But you suspect that someone has brought it here. It's not an accident that it's here, and so you need to discover all this. And so when we last left you, you were walking down this long hallway towards what you hoped to be a useful place in this strange library. It's a region known as the Heart on all of the little signs. And so as you're walking down this long hallway, just have each of you briefly describe the visual appearance of your character.
If I can start, John Deere is a completely matte white silhouette of a man who wears completely matte black silhouette clothes and carries around completely matte black gear. He's something stepped out of a comic book, um, and yeah, he's a special reaper for death.
Ningle from the waist up wears ordinary clothes. He has Mediterranean, almost bronze sort of skin, but he has horns, big eagle wings, and yes, below the waist he has a serpent's body. Because he is a fallen angel of a goddess now long dead. So he's slithering his way down the corridor.
Really?
So Lady Dana is um fairly human looking, um, particularly with the wondrous things that humans do with hair dye and contact lenses these days. So her hair is like this slightly murky, watery greenish blue that seems to move on its own, and her skin is fairly pale. Her eyes are kind of a solid ice water blue, and she wears somewhat like she looks like she could have been like she might be like cosplaying or at like Ren Fair mermaidy type without the scales or the tail because she's in like what we would think of like peasant blouse, um, bodice, skirts, fairly pale, slightly clammy looking skin.
All right.
And David?
Pandorum is the most human of all of us. He looks like just an average looking guy with some odd scars around his eyes, um, and has a necklace with a small box that will occasionally rattle with one item left in it around his neck. And uh, yeah, he is still a monster though.
So, uh, here is something that the players know is not true. But as your characters are proceeding down this hallway, this is always the number of people that you had that came in to the library with you. This was always the team that you came in with. And as players, you know that Jason's character was with you. But as characters, no, this is who you had. This is who came in with you.
Oh,
Gotcha.
no one's allowed to mess with my mind. Someone is going to pay when I find out.
Yeah, you heard something about the Parasitic Library having strange memory erasing properties, but well, and there. So as it turns out, welcome, Jason. So I was just explaining how.
Do I know you?
Not
So-
a clue.
Someone just got lost in the stacks for a moment.
So now that we do have Jason, and let me fix our layout here, and now that we do have everyone, we have Jason Banks as Myron. As you're making your way down this long bookshelf hallway, what does Myron look like?
Well, if you're a mortal looking at Myron, that could be anyone. But if you are someone of our stature, Myron is more of a collaboration of kind of slimy, oozy body parts, skulls, and faces. He looks very disturbing, almost as if like you slimified the thing. But to other people, like mortals, he could look like their mom, a lover, a friend. So many things, and he has no control over it whatsoever.
So,
Really wants to.
Yes, unless he wants to.
So all of you definitely were, making your way down the hallway when all of a sudden Myron is just kind of sliding up next to you, and all of you suddenly turn it with a start because you realize, oh, right, Myron was here. That was very strange. For a moment there, we just totally forgot that he was here with us.
I'm very sneaky, sir.
But in fact, what I'm going to do as you realize, wait, the memory erasing properties of this place are just that subtle that if he had not actually just still been there in your line of view, you might have forgotten him entirely. I'm going to tick the doomsday clock to one out of 4.
Oh no.
Ooh, boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Pandoran's,
that's not fun.
Pandoran's reaction would be, "This stupid place. Let's just blow it up."
Well, bearing in mind too that like when I say you tick the doomsday clock, it's like you don't have like a little app on your phone that tells you
Now
that.
this is the players going, oh,
Yes.
I know, but that was Pandoran's reaction to the memory thing, and that was me embodying a condition that affects him merciless.
Yeah. So in the meantime, though, the thing that does happen when the doomsday clock ticks is that all of a sudden, as you are making your way down this hallway, leaving behind the place where that mysterious librarian entity appeared and then once again disappeared after asking you to leave and being thwarted. But you suddenly hear what sounds like the rushing of wind. And as a gust, torrential wind starts just pouring through the hallway at you, carrying with it a flurry of loose pages, all swirling around to each other in a cyclone of loose paper. All of you are just suddenly caught in this storm, and it's just paper and wind. So as soon as it's on you, it's very sort of disorienting, but not otherwise physically dangerous as far as I can tell. But then as this storm kind of just passes you by, it's once again calm, but a few of those pages have kind of just drifted down, and settled onto the ground. And I want to ask, who of you sees a terrible truth laid bare amongst these pages, and what is it?
There's one of the pages has a name on it, and it it sparks a memory that John Deere knows is his name from when he was alive. It like cracks that um um that lack of memory open a bit. And the paper is a um, police report.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, nice.
And John kind of picks it up, curious, just like, wait a minute, there's something about this, and then immediately just crumples it up and shoves it in his pocket.
Okay. I'm going to suggest that it has the markings to indicate that it was a police report that was seized by division, and archived in their own archives.
Okay, yeah, sure.
All right. As are you all continuing on towards the heart?
I Myron looks over at John and kind of looks at him and says, because he sees him crumple it up and tells him, "Hey, he says, what was that? You okay? How are you? You feeling all right?"
I'm fine. And
Hmm.
uh, I'm going to take 2 darkness tokens for react with cold reason and logic.
Okay.
I would like to take 2 dark points for asking how someone feels.
Huh.
My embodying the condition, I took 3 darkness.
Okay. Sure. And thank you, because I did ask that we kind of just so that we keep the systems in mind that we mention when we do the darkness token. So I appreciate that. Thank you, everyone.
And so, just to double check, you crumpled it and put it in your part, like
In my pocket.
in your pocket. Damn it! I wanted to read that, but it's on him, and I can't have it. So I'll take 2 darkness tokens for feel a yearning for what I cannot have.
So, are you proceeding down towards what you this
I
area that the signs indicate as heart?
I don't think we're actually going to arrive there. The spatial distortions here are going to prevent us from making this progress. I
Okay,
suggest that we turn around and try something else.
I I would like to. I definitely like to go to the heart or whatever that boiler sound is. I think those are the same, and if
Mm-hmm.
that's true, we can blow this. We can blow it up and destroy this thing,
We just
possibly,
don't
or at
know the
least make it very
ramifications
unpleasant.
of blowing it up, and I'd like
Well,
to not die in the process.
well, how about Myron kind of looks at one of the walls around them and he puts his hand on the wall. And I'd like to use 2 darkness points and since the to me the thing seems sentient, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it can't hide its heart from me. I'd like to
Okay.
use 2 darkness points and see if I can read its feelings, deepen my senses for it.
Okay. You're
Oh,
so trying to actually read its mind, huh? Okay,
yeah.
let's see. I'm just pulling up that move so I can read it. Yeah, so Yeah, when you deepen your senses to try to sense the library's intentions, you spend darkness tokens and roll. Okay. All right, so
Ooh.
that's an
An 11.
11, disastrous
Ah,
success. On an 11 plus, their mind bleeds into yours. Choose one from the list above, and they will choose one to ask you as well.
You can also spend a bond in
Oh,
order to
yes,
reduce that to
knock it
you
down.
10.
can do that.
yeah.
You can spend a bond point and reduce it to a 10.
Let's see. Bonds. Which one can I use? Which one can I use? I need to bring it down. What, one?
Yeah, to 8 to 10 would be the perfect hit.
Okay. Then I will use my bond with the darkness
Okay.
to lower it by one because sensing this sentient thing's mind as it has such knowledge would definitely help in assisting me make the entire world into my slaves.
Okay. So, on an 8 to 10, you sense more under the surface, and you can ask two questions from the list that are on that move. So I'm not going to just read them all, but you tell me which two are you asking.
Um, what is the library trying to hide from us? And how do I make the library trust us?
Okay. What it's trying to hide are its vulnerabilities. Um, it is trying to keep you. So, what you sense here, the primary feeling is that it is hungry and it's eating and it doesn't want you to bother it. And so it's trying to hide the areas where you could be more of a bother. Um, how can you make it trust you? You would have to persuade it that you are not trying to stop it from feeding. I mean, as it stands right now, the when you spoke to the librarian, what you did was you took away one of its books and you converted it into some other format in a way that it didn't like. So it doesn't especially trust you right now.
Okay. Hmm. Then, so from that, I'm assuming it can see us, correct?
I mean,
Or sense us in some
It,
form, right?
yeah, it's. I think you get this. Like traditional senses are probably a little abstracted in this sense.
Ooh. Hey guys, I'm gonna try something.
What?
I got another ability. I'd like to use Man of a Thousand Faces, and
Okay.
I would like to try and become the face of the creator or the one that this library deems in charge of it, if there is such a thing.
Okay.
Because if I can't make it trust me, seeing as we kind of did attack its librarian,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it'll believe the person who's in charge here, or whom it might deem in charge.
Well, see, that's an interesting question because the like you don't know who that is.
Nope.
But what you're hoping to do is to pull upon some idea within the library and form into whatever image it would associate with that.
Indeed, I've spent many, many thousands of years experiencing different lives. This is just
Mm-hmm.
another life or another form of life.
Okay. Well, I will allow you to make that move and we'll see how it happens, how it works out.
Straight roll for this one.
Okay.
Oh, it's a miss.
That's a miss, and it's a 6. So that means that if you wanted to try to use bonds, you'd have to use 2 bond points.
You know, I will, and this one I'll use the my 2 bond points with Pandorum because this is almost like trying to reminisce on a past existence, and one of those was with him, and I can remember him explaining something to me, and I'm not getting it, but it's a deep conversation where again, trying to explain, Anakin, you were the chosen one, and I'm like, bro, I don't. What is brotherly love, dog? I don't. We've been alive for a while, guy. You've been doing this again. And it's just a moment that we've had many times. And I'll use that to make it an 8.
Okay. So on an 8 to 10, the thoughts and memories come together in song, and your form harmonizes with it, and you choose 2 from that list.
Let's see. I will. I would like to gain the memories and thoughts of the person, but I also want the form to last as long and stay stable as long as I can concentrate on it.
Okay. So just to reiterate, what idea are you drawing on from the library? Because you kind of said the person who
Right.
made it, the person who's in charge. You kind of said several different things. I want you to narrow it down. It needs to be a very simple idea.
The person who gave it the one person it's trusted with those secrets, with those vulnerabilities. Even if maybe if that person I don't know because how old would this library be? It's got to be eons probably, right?
So I think that so in this moment, does your appearance change to the others here for the other monsters
Yes, for
here?
this
Okay.
one because I'm physically trying to determine what I look like. So yes.
Okay. So, for all of you, what happens here is that Myron's form becomes like it's still vaguely humanoid in shape, but easily a head taller than the rest of you, long, slender limbed, and strangely cloudy. Like, and you realize that there's no like where there's a head is almost just kind of like this swirling mass of dark energy with just a couple of glowing eyes, and wearing this figure is wearing some very strange, almost either ancient or like alien robes. They just don't resemble any sort of known culture that you're familiar with, but it is very like arcane and decorated in some way. And so the thoughts and feelings that you find yourself flooded with now, Myron, you know that you are a traveler from afar. And although you have various images that kind of flash through your mind when you think about that, you are having difficulty understanding any context for what that place is. But it's home, and you don't recognize it other than your form recognizes it. And you find suddenly that you are shocked and a little disturbed to realize that you are bound by physics. You get the sense that whoever this actual figure would be, and now that you think it's the name is something like formless amnesis between, like it doesn't feel like a normal like name, an earth name, but that's as close as you get. And you get the feeling that they are not used to being bound by the standard laws of physics, but you are because you merely have their appearance. and all of you are watching, and it's a little strange because the face just looks like it's concealed in shadow no matter what the light around them looks like. And you know that what you are here to do is to pick out a few specific books, and you are planning to use them for another task that you are having you're struggling to contemplate, but you know that you have a good relationship with the library constructs, the librarian constructs, and that you are trusted to be able to take the books for what you need and then return them.
Okay. I speak up, or I try to form words. I don't
I
know.
think you still can because like you are still yourself. You just kind
Right.
of like can also have those thoughts and feelings and this is what you look like, but yeah.
So when you guys hear Myron's voice, you hear it, but it's almost in a double kind of vibrato. Like there's something there either underneath or trying to override it. And he's like, this thing is beyond almost anything I've ever experienced. Um, I've never had the sensation that I should not have to worry about physics. Like, I shouldn't be restrained in this way. I feel almost claustrophobic in this form. Whatever made this thing is beyond even us.
Yeah.
Nothing is beyond even us. Are
You're
you?
you're still you're still standing on the ground, right?
Yes,
I
I'm on the I'm on the ground.
I literally don't think this thing has to even care about doing so unless it wants to. Like it I don't think it just exists outside of those things.
Well, you have the feeling that this actual creature does not even have to worry about things like moving through physical space in a traditional way. Like if they want to be in another room, they don't actually have to move from here to there in a straight line.
They
Yeah,
they are there if they
simply.
wish it.
And so I will see if I can get librarian. I'll call out.
So as you say that, I would like to encourage everyone to imagine that the TV show is going to give us an excellent jump scare where Myron says librarian, and then the shot will be to the rest of you with a librarian standing behind you when they say yes, and it is not the same figure you saw before. Its humanoid appearance looks like a different person, but wearing the same clothing, like the tweed jacket with the leather elbows, the sort of the tie, glasses. But it seems like it's a different person otherwise. But they stand there and they just say, yes, formless amnesis between. What can I do for you?
These individuals apologize for the treatment of the other librarians, but they are here seeking something that is someone is trying to gain knowledge from the library. Have you seen any others enter here?
Well, I am, of course, helping you in another location at this time. And there are other individuals within the library. I'm afraid you're going to have to be more specific.
Hmm. Can you make a map for these individuals of the locations where others are?
Well, I rather think that a map, in the way that I believe you are requesting, one that could be comprehended by your associates.
He, Myron goes, I understand. It's think of it as when you compliment your pet. Sometimes you have to dumb down what you say if you get my meaning.
Oh, my eyes just turned red. Flash. I'm calm down for the moment. I just flash
I,
red at being called a pet.
and John Deere is restraining himself from face palming.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
your companions seem quite agitated. Are you sure that they are going to be able to be on their best behavior while they're here in the library?
Oh, I will be watching them as you know I can.
Yes, well, of course. And I understand, but they will, if they're going to be here, be asked, of course, to obey the rules of the library, as you well know. I can, I suppose, grant them a degree of concession so long as you're their escort while they are here. But I rather think that if they wish to go any place here in the library, I would ask that you escort them, and in that case, why would a map be required?
So you're asking me to be their chauffeur.
I am asking that you not allow them to roam unaccompanied.
So I will keep them on heel.
Very well. What else can I help you with?
I need a
The name of
rundown.
the place. What's the name of the place where the other people like us are?
Ah, well, I do believe that the hungry worm is in the loft where they think that I don't know about them. Um, you know, I suspect all of you smell like division. There is another like that in the stacks. But there are, of course, many individuals that have, journeyed to the library or come to stay over the years. Once again, you're asking very broad questions.
Let's go to the stacks. That
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's go find the other division person, and then perhaps us pets can give a little more clarification.
All right, very well then. If you need me for anything, do not hesitate to call for me, and I hope that you enjoy your time in the library. And then they, almost as though their whole body is a book that snaps shut. Just there's this sort of sense of, and then they're just gone.
You all sense a tingling at the forefront of your minds as Myron reaches out to you to speak not verbally. Sorry about that. Also, we need to hurry because I don't know how long I can keep this charade going. This being is beyond me.
Especially since you kind of fucked up several times there. And
Yeah.
and well, outside of the game, I have moved ashes to ashes where I can, uh, basically the people that made Pandorum's beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Would there be any knowledge I could recall from them that would help identify what Myron is embodying right now?
Maybe that seems like exactly what the move is to find out. But I think that yes, when you declare how the wisdom of your people may help in a situation, spend darkness tokens and roll.
Okay. Let's see. I'll go ahead and put in 3 because why not?
Okay, it looks like it
The
double
second one
rolled.
is, yeah. second one is ignored. So
Okay, well, so that
How's
first
he-
one is a 15,
Oh,
Yeah.
which
Lord.
is the highest that it would be possible to roll
Yep.
on the dice,
Yep.
plus 3. So I don't think there's any using bonds to
Yeah.
I do not
to
have bonds
No.
for that.
yeah. So, on an 11 plus, the dark of your despair threatens to consume you.
Oh
You're
God.
going to choose one from the above list, but the keeper will describe how an aspect of your people's tragedy will be repeated in spite of or because of your actions.
Okay. Well, how about since I can choose one,
Mm-hmm.
I'll recall ancient knowledge.
Okay. So, recall ancient knowledge. Ask the keeper any question. They will answer it honestly and with great detail. Although, bearing in mind that anything that is specific to the mystery is not an ideal question in this way because the dice are going to determine whether that's true or not, right?
Well, my the specific question is, what is Myron's form?
Uh-huh, uh-huh. That seems like a good question. You learn that they are from another like another planet is understating it because they're from a higher dimensional plane of existence, and their ability to ignore conventional physics is a little bit like just, if you just imagine in a three-dimensional space, right? Like if you have a board game map and there are lots of walls that dictate whether you can move between certain rooms or not, but you would have the ability to pick up a mini, move it to a different spot, ignoring all of those walls and just moving it around in that way. That's essentially kind of what they can do, is that their expression in the three-dimensional space that you are aware of is kind of just the extension of them reaching into your space.
Kind of like
So
a sphere
kind
in
of a
Flatland.
flatland.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was thinking Flatland too.
Well, you know what? Flatland is exactly about this exact sort of thing. So it's yeah. Flatland is really good. People should read it. Anyway, it's actually a lot more about like politics and civil rights than you might think. Anyway, but yeah, so in that sense, this extra dimensional creature, they are generally known to be travelers. So, like this, the answer to this question is in the context of what your people would have known about them, and what they knew about them is that these entities would visit from time to time, and they were often there in search of knowledge that they would they would look to answer specific questions, and they would be willing to converse in a basic way, but they often were difficult to get any real information out of because they have their tendency in a conversation is almost always to redirect any question into a new question for you.
Oh God, Socratic method on crack.
But yeah, so essentially what you know about them is that as far as your people ever had any encounter with them, there was never any kind of hostility or frankly even any desire to interact with or interfere with your lives or future or existence. They really seemed to only be present to determine answers to questions that they had, and then they leave. And so, on that basis, you would expect if one of these entities is here, that that might be what they're here from. But you also know that Myron is in this form because he was specifically trying to get a sense of like who created the library, this library which attaches to things and consumes information out of it. So, as far as your people knew, They would show up from time to time, seeking certain information, and then leave, and not ever seeming to do anything else that your people were aware of.
Okay, so it seems like you are, uh, the form you're in is a traveler, a questioner. Bring it through. Socrates kind of character, except they never they never really chose to give answers. They just had more questions.
More Diogenes than Socrates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I. They made this library. Why is the library here?
I,
Because they wouldn't attack places. They just question.
well, maybe it's hard to
Maybe.
pin down these thoughts and memories. They're not like, no, I've lived countless lives, but these are not
Yeah.
anything like that. And
You.
if it's a question, maybe the question is of the knowledge. If it's draining the knowledge, maybe that's how it's trying to get the answer.
Yeah. And for the record, the thoughts and feelings that you have taking this form, Myron, don't seem to indicate any intention other than checking out some of the books here in the library, reading them and or taking them with them, but like purely in the search of the information contained therewith.
Hmm.
They like.
So maybe the library is here because the information this being wants is
Is in the division
is is
archives,
is in the
and
division archives. Yeah.
yeah, I mean
I.
that seems quite evident that this is being used. The parasitic library is being used to scoop up everything, so that this entity can get a few things that it wants for some
But
probably
if it.
nefarious purpose. Otherwise, it would just come to the division and ask nicely. So,
But the
uh,
pattern of the questioner is to arrive, see, ask a question, get an answer, and leave.
Well,
They, one of these could have showed up in division, asked the question. Division would probably say, uh, fill out this paperwork, which they
no,
no.
no, it
No,
would ask,
division could have said
"Who
no.
are you and how did you get here?" That was how division would react.
But remember, Division has dealt with this sort of entity before.
Oh, sure.
I
If
think
it,
I
you know,
think
if it had a relationship with them, maybe, but clearly, whoever this entity is does not have a good relationship with division, or they would have done something
Questioners,
like that.
the
Hmm.
So,
questioner,
therefore,
they they seek out questions. If
who
developing
does?
questioners, Myron's form.
Well, so what I'll offer
Travelers.
here is that you were given the information by the librarian that they were helping Myron's form in another location as
Yeah.
at that very time, and so that would potentially be a place where you could potentially find out more information about this.
Right. So let's go there.
Mm.
So I
Okay.
believe that is probably not the heart, because there's not going to be books there, if that's the boiler you're talking about. So I think we should go to look for that other location of the one who's behind this. That's where we should go.
Okay.
um,
And isn't there a downside of that move that I
Oh
There's a
yes.
downside for every
Well,
move.
no,
oh
but
yeah.
but you got a disastrous success, and so the
yeah.
point is that I
Oh,
didn't.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
Haven't
so
inflicted that yet.
I think that you, let's see, um, I think that you recognize through what seems to be some kind of a connection or distortion of these travelers' purpose or modus operandi, and what the parasitic library is doing. Like, is there a connection, like a deliberate active connection or something else? You're not sure. But you just recognize that it's one thing when the travelers would come and seek information and leave, but you still had the information. Whereas what the parasitic library seems to do is to take the information with it, where it is not left behind. So it eats it in a sense, and what it takes the information from does not have it anymore. And you recognize that there may be big parts of what your people's cultural memory of these things are that you just don't know because they were taken. And who knows what parts of your people's memory are lost and turned to nothing that you wouldn't even know you had lost. And that is happening to Division right now. As this library is here, everything it eats is not in Division anymore. And who knows what happens to it.
And as he realizes this, Pandora kind of just stumbles back against the wall and pulls his head.
I think I need another condition as a result.
Okay. Conditions. I'm going to go with sparing.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
Well, and yeah, especially just this kind of sense of like, maybe this happened to my people and I wouldn't even know. And now it's happening again. Will I even remember by tomorrow that I was here to stop this? You know, yeah.
The wheel must always spin, its gilded fulcrum rotting within. We need to go. We need to go do something. Stands up and starts moving back down the hall the way we came.
Okay. So are the rest of you following?
Yeah, go ahead and follow, but yeah, it's also a question of how much of this got stated out loud. But it sounds like, all right, something weird's gone on and we're going in
Several
this
things are going
directions.
weird at once.
Regarding the vision to the past, to the pattern towards the disaster, all that was said was what I said.
Okay.
Myron is like, wait, now, don't rush. I don't know how we would deal with this thing if it's doing what we're thinking, it could be doing. How are we going to deal with this thing?
I mean, Pandora walking. He is heading back.
I mean, you can have this conversation as you're
on the
walking.
move.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
following.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We are absolutely following.
Yes.
Deal with this thing, Myron. That's why we're here. We're not here to fight it to a cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, but it literally can say that thing is now in this space. What if it does that to only half of us?
So
And then we'll deal with it. Let's go.
And we deal with it.
So you're
I'm definitely gonna take 2 darkness points for acting with cowardice.
okay.
I'm going to take 2 darkness for acting with arrogance.
All right. Well, so as you are making your way through, and definitely remember as you take the darkness tokens that if you end up in a place where you are you have more than 5 after a move, then you need to do the torn between move.
After a move. Okay.
Right.
So you can
So
accumulate ahead.
you can accumulate more, but remember you can only spend up to 3 on a move, I think.
Right.
Yeah, and so if you make a move and after the move you have more than 5 or more, then you do the torn between.
Okay.
Which is not a punishment; it's another role play opportunity, right? It's
Right.
just, but in any case, I think you definitely recognize that before you have walked as long as you did the other direction, you have returned to that little entry foyer, and you see that Marcus Finch is there, but he has much more of like a growth of beard than you remembered. And in addition to all of the equipment that he set up, there's a tent. And he looks up at you and he just goes, "Please tell me you remember this time."
Oh boy.
Remember
How
what?
long has it been?
Well, okay, so I guess when was the last time you remember seeing me?
When you brought us here.
When we headed down that hall.
Okay, well,
Strap in. We've been on a roll. We've been on a merry-go-round, haven't we?
a little bit, yeah. Um, did you learn anything?
Oh, did
Yes,
they
we've
look
learned a
like
few
this
things.
before? I'm
Oh,
pointing at Marin.
He's not going to see.
well, so
Miranda.
here's a question for Myron. Like, what
Oh.
does Marcus see? Does Marcus see the new form or what they
Yes,
would have seen before?
The new form, because I'm still concentrating to keep it,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
because we are still being watched.
Yeah.
We
I
also
I
didn't know.
mean, like, there's a lot going on. I'm
Yeah.
trying not to get
Yeah.
too hung up on specific details. Are you any closer? Like, are we figuring this out or?
We're getting closer.
We have just this we've got some extra clarity on what the parasitic library is doing and how it operates. It attaches to a source of knowledge like the division library and siphons information into it. And
And he definitely has a notebook. He's taking all of this
Yeah.
down. And you look and
Like I am
he's
going
on
to
like page
start
15.
start
Yeah.
reading over his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
and there's an entity that is here that he has gotten some insight into that is using that property in order to gain access to secrets that it wants for some other task.
No.
And I believe that is the one that's kind of directed the parasitic library here and the one we should be investigating. And
And
so
don't forget that he meant that there was a mention of someone else that smelled of division in the stacks.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's talking about our friend here.
Well, so
Are we in the stacks?
You are not in the stacks.
No, then there's somebody else in the.
Well,
stack.
and not only that, but to be clear, what they said was hungry worm is in the loft. You don't
loft.
know what that means, but
Right.
it does.
Yeah.
But they separately said, "I am also helping you in another location." They didn't actually say where, but I'll say that you could promptly just call the librarian again, and they said, "Oh, the observatory, of course."
Okay. So those are three different areas that we should investigate, and I don't think that, quite frankly, I don't think that from what I've seen, our we're
Yes.
in. Well, I'm a little worried that we're burning time here. So I was thinking of splitting up, but then we would probably get the librarian's attention if we were no longer hanging around with this guy. So we should pick a place to go. That hungry worm sounds interesting to me.
The librarian did not seem entirely pleased with the hungry worm.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe
Librarian-
someone that can be suborned.
The hungry worm was hiding from the librarian
In the loft.
because the librarian said
Yeah.
that it was.
They think I don't know they're there.
Yeah,
Right.
They
So-
think I don't know they're there.
that might be productive.
I
So
think
So do we think
The stacks
it's
or the observatory?
do we think it's the traveler or the worm that is causing this?
Oh,
The travel, absolutely.
the travel. The worm is
Ancillary.
another entity here that might be useful.
Marcus, is there another individual from uh, that's been assigned to this area from division?
I mean, this current mission is just it's just those of us that are present right now with my assumption that that is Myron.
Yes, that is Myron.
Do you
So,
have record of a is there a record of like a previous mission that would have left someone behind?
well, here's the thing. That sounds like something that might have happened, but if it did, they
No one
that no
remembers.
one
No one
remembers.
remembers.
Yeah.
Okay, so the division. Okay, let's go to the observatory. That the other questioner might have a, or the questioner might have a better idea of who, uh, of how to affect change here if they are not involved.
So, you look up at those little signs, and there definitely is one little arrow that is pointing. That says, the observatory this way.
All right,
All right.
head to the observatory.
Okay. So as you are, making your way, you do a couple of twists and turns, but you're not walking nearly as far as when you were trying to go to the heart. And you pass through a big set of double doors into what is it's a massive room. It's maybe like 50 yards across with an enormous, domed ceiling. So like 50 yards across, like with a hemispherical dome, and present in that domed space are several ornate and massive telescopes kind of hanging ponderously from arcane mechanisms that are a little like incomprehensible at first glance. Below them, there is a lot of what looks like really old-fashioned, like 1950s, 1960s electrical equipment. Like lots of big toggle switches and clicky buttons and stuff like that. And there are some shelves, bookshelves around the circumference as well. But you do see over towards the center, you do see another figure looking very much like Myron's current state, being in conversation quietly with another, what looks perhaps like another librarian construct. Once again, it looks like a different person, but in the same sort of uniform.
Okay.
Um, I am going to take out my tablet and
You see that there's 3 unread messages.
all right. I will. One moment, and I'm going to read this message.
I think
Normally
everyone
vibrates when it gets a message.
knows that Pandorum. It can tell that Pandorum is impatient at the moment.
All right.
Is basically going to just walk up if no one.
Okay, well, so what we can definitely do that. We'll cut back over to you doing that in just a moment. But
Yep.
so with John Deere, as you pull open your tablet, the first message just says, John Deere, there is an individual who may need your help present within the space that you currently exist in. I would very much appreciate if you would discuss the various opportunities you might offer them with them.
All right.
And then the second one is saying,
I'll reply to that.
Well,
Yeah.
sure. Well, so
Yeah.
the three messages waiting. There's the second one is just saying, ping, and the third one is saying, I'm sure you will get these at some point. Don't feel bad, but yes, do what I said.
I'll reply to that. It says, understood. Time is a little unsteady where I am right now. And I'll send that off. And then
Thumbs up emoji.
and then I'll go and see what mayhem Pandorum has.
Well, so while you were looking at that, it sounded like John Deere was taking out the tablet and then distracted for a moment. Pandorum storms up to the.
Does anyone try and stop him? I just say.
Yes.
So,
I'm gonna put a big hand on you and restrain you physically. Patience. We do this together, or not at all.
Is he restrained?
Pandorum,
yeah,
Is Pandorum going to allow that?
Response turns around and says, what this library is doing could have caused my origination, the first apocalypse. Those questioners, they do not take knowledge and leave none behind. They take answers, but leave the answers behind. They share, they increase the total sum of knowledge, not leave it the same.
While Pandorum is making his explanation, I have my tablet out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use my Forbidden Archives roll.
Okay.
Move. And spend 2 darkness tokens.
Quick question about the Forbidden Archives move. The default text assumes that what you have done is one of the forbidden books from Division's usual archive. You have physically taken it out with you. Now, that's just the default text. Are you saying that that's kind of what you did, or do you want it to be part of your...
My tablet has the ability to make a copy of a document just kind of laying on top of it.
Right.
So I've got, and it's technically speaking, what I've got is that object's death.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got it at the moment before it is no longer exists.
Okay, so you kind of like, you sort of summon a little time-shifted version of whatever it is.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And so
which sometimes doesn't go well, but
no.
yeah.
Oh well, hey.
You know what? You guys are doing a hard job. Sometimes you got to take the risks. Right. Got to risk it for the biscuit, so to speak.
Makes a complicated gesture over his tablet, and a kind of a pure white book with black letters on it appears in the air, facing away from him, towards the entity that the librarian is talking to.
Okay.
And I'm going to spend 2 darkness tokens.
All right.
And what did it roll?
I haven't seen it come up. Might just be taking a little bit. Oh, there it is. Okay, that's a 12 disastrous success.
Okay.
God.
Are you going to try to do anything with bonds there, or?
Yes, I will. I will spend 2 bonds to bring that down to a 10.
Which bonds are you spending, and how do those bonds help you here?
Bonds. I'm going to spend the bond with Lady Dana.
So what you feel is the book basically threatening to break out of your control.
Yeah. yeah, and it like it it its attention is diverted towards Lady Dana momentarily,
Mm-hmm.
and I, like absolutely not, and kind of enforce my will upon it at that moment.
All right.
Um, so, um,
So if you,
things bend and the spell tech weakens. The book recognizes me as its master, at least for the time being.
mm-hmm.
Um, and I name the target. A book consumes them and holds them within its pages for now. And it's
Okay.
going to be the entity that is talking to the librarian.
All right. Okay. And so you're choosing two. So that's one. Do you want to choose the other, or do you want the first thing to
Oh, I
happen
get to
first?
choose two.
Yeah, when you get
Um,
8 to 10, yeah.
yeah. And a page tears out of it and heads over to Pandorum, and he gets to clear a condition.
Okay. So what there so a page from John Deere's book rips out and flits itself over to you, Pandorum, and it reveals a welcome truth that lets you clear one of your conditions. What is the truth, and what condition does it help you clear?
So I get to choose that?
Yeah.
Okay. I hmm.
I mean, I can pick one if you want, but because it's one of your conditions to clear, I felt it like, what is the truth that would help you clear one of those?
Hmm. I think I hmm. Hmm. I think the merciless is the one that gets cleared,
Okay.
and the truth is um that when something is captured and not destroyed, that does not mean it uh you know that does not mean uh it cannot be ended later or some other way otherwise directed towards
Well, so
continuation,
may I offer in
right?
support of that? Part of what it kind of reiterates is that, in a very real sense, although certainly not a typical sense, the parasitic library is alive, and it's just doing what it does, right?
Okay.
It's not malicious.
Yeah.
It's just eating the
Yeah.
way anything does, any living thing. But also, it is.
Well, and my thought on, like, uh capturing the entity is saying that it's not, just because it's captured doesn't mean that
Yeah, David, I think
you're
you're missing something.
what.
There are two different results going on here. There's
Yeah,
the capture, and then there's this page that goes over to you.
right.
There's
Yeah.
a, it's so what's on the page
Mm-hmm.
that's been shown to you that is a truth that
Yeah.
is
Evolve,
relevant
yeah.
to you.
Okay.
So it's not that capturing the entity makes you clear a condition. It's that something is revealed to you as a true fact separate from that lets you clear a condition. It is a welcome truth.
Okay. uh um
I mean, so what I was kind
I,
of just offering is just perhaps you would feel less merciless towards the library if there's a recognition that the library is kind of just
yeah,
doing what
okay,
it
yeah, that makes,
does,
yeah,
right?
that.
And so, and also kind of a remembering that one of your keys is that although the information is not left behind, neither is it destroyed. It is moved and transformed, but that doesn't mean annihilated from existence.
Yeah, okay, yeah, your idea works
Yeah.
very well.
So what that means is that if information was stolen from your people,
It may still be
it
here.
it
It'd
would be
still
here
be in
somewhere.
here, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So all the more reason that you wouldn't want to necessarily just blow
Blow
it
it up.
up. But yeah, I
Mm,
don't know. All right, cool. So you were able to clear one of your conditions there. So yes, as John Deere opens this book, there, what does it look like from your end?
Um,
Is it just like
well, it's
a void vortex, or
from what does what look like from my end?
when your
The book.
book is consuming this entity and holding it within it? I'm saying, like, if we've got a TV camera
So
pointed at John Deere, what does that look like?
um the book opens, um and uh, um the entity diverts its attention at this as this dramatic event happens, and he's suddenly sure that some of the information he wants is in this book. And
Mm-hmm.
as he reads the contents of the pages, because remember, it opened up facing away from him,
Mm-hmm.
he's becomes lost in the book, the way we do sometimes. Only
Mm-hmm.
this is much more literal.
Okay.
And so as he reads, he kind of fades from this existence and exists in the reality described in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps words appear on the page describing what he's doing in a narrative format,
I like that.
uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the book.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't read Jasper Ford, I definitely uh, the, recommend the Thursday Next novels.
All right. Great. So I think the librarian that had been conversing with the entity watches all of that happen and then looks over to Myron and says, "Were you finished with our conversation, or would you like to resume in this instance of yourself?"
You're muted, Jason.
Myron says, it's Myron's like, oh, kind of in his head, he's like, oh damn. Please continue. He just kind of like looks over at John Deere, like, oh my god.
What did you just do?
Well, and also, like, so I think the librarian says, "Very well."
Yeah, I'm going to look around and see if a book has been left behind by by this entity that kind of would reveal um, uh,
Well, one thing I'll
uh,
say is that the location where it was conversing with the librarian construct was actually not near one of the bookshelves. It's among all of that old-fashioned looking electrical equipment that's below the telescopes.
well, see, I'm looking for an excuse to grasp for keys.
Oh, sure, but I'm just saying
Yeah,
that you don't
yeah,
need
but
to read a
okay.
book to do that. You
No.
can
Okay,
grab
all right.
it is
So
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
like look at
I'm
the.
gonna look around
yeah.
for kind of evidence. I only have one darkness token left, so I'll
Mm-hmm.
spend it.
Yeah.
Um, um, uh, and that's a 10. Perfect hit.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right.
So, in grasp keys with a 10, you uncover a key, and the keeper will tell you what it is. So, what are you doing? Are you're just investigating the area? Like, this thing was here. It must
He
have
was
been here
here.
for some reason. You're trying to figure out what.
Right, yeah. Well, we know that he is using the library to get access to division information. I
Mm-hmm.
want to find out what that information is,
Mm-hmm.
and or might be, or at least in part or in full.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Let's see. Uh. Yeah, I'm looking at a list of suggested possible. Oh, what you realize is that the librarian and this entity this had been standing above, standing nearby what looks like a sample container, and it's sitting on a little like scanner plate on a big piece of equipment that leads up to one of these telescopes. And
Oh.
as you look inside this little sort of sample container, it seems to be full of some kind of like a twinkling energy. Like if you imagine like a glitter snow globe, but with the glitter able to actually phosphoresce and constantly in motion, almost like the effect that they used to do the the teleporter in old Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's a jar that looks kind of like that but glowing, and it's currently part of this machine that is analyzing it.
Hmm.
And so that is a new key.
Okay. Is there any clue as to what the result of that examination is?
I mean, you could kind of further look, but what you have grasped, like the success of your move is that this is apparently important, and so it will be part of your Unlock Doom's Door move later when you try to conclude what it must be and how it must be connected. But what I'm telling you is it definitely is important and it's connected somehow.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ponder that while other people get a chance to do things.
Why?
Doran would like to, uh, like, would it be possible to communicate with the questioner that's inside the book?
I mean, it's, I mean, maybe. How would you attempt to do that?
John, would you mind if I were to write in that book to try and communicate with the uh, one trapped in there?
Um,
Would it be possible, I should say?
oh, it's possible. It's also dangerous. Can you write in the book without reading it?
Well,
I mean,
I was going to focus on a margin near its area, and
I will summon the book for you again, but I I personally wouldn't recommend it. But,
Is it in that book permanently, John?
probably not. It'll probably figure its way out sooner or later. But in the meantime, we can try and figure out what it's up
then
I have just ticked the doomsday clock to
I
2
think
out of
that's
4. And so as you are talking, suddenly all of this equipment around you that had been, you know, gently active, like screens with showing sort of like blinking cursors or lights on here and there, suddenly start humming, and different machines like hydraulics start engaging and the telescopes start moving around, and you quickly become aware that the whole room is changing somehow. Things are moving on pieces of the floor that don't seem like they should be able to move, and you hear another strange howling wind that kind of is reminiscent of that little cyclone storm of pages that came through before, but it's much louder now and it sounds more like an animal howl. And right now, all of these different pieces of the floor are moving around each other in some complicated intersection that doesn't seem like it has any sort of obvious pattern, but it's almost like they're dancing in, moving around in creating an obstacle course. Is the point here, is that all of these large active machines are sliding around on different floor panels in ways that if you want to get anywhere, you're having to go from one panel to another and to dodge this machine and that machine. And you hear this animal cry, and then leaping, you see from one of the edges of the room, leaping over one of these machines. You catch just a glimpse of it before it, falls and lands behind another machine and you don't see it anymore. Looks like an enormous saber-toothed tiger made out of floating book pages with bright glowing eyes. And as you have been reacting to these moving machines and floor panels, you find that they have separated you. So you don't all see one another now. You have you think probably everyone's still here in this room, but you are in almost like a hedge maze of 1950s electronic panels and telescope parts and unknown machinery. And there's a monster in here with you.
How tall
Another
are
one.
these? How tall are these machines compared to the room?
Some much more than others. I think some are pretty tall. Some of them seem to actually connect to the telescopes hanging from the ceiling. However,
Okay.
many of them are also just kind of like person tall.
Okay, I was just wondering if what Ningle wants to do is take to the air, beat his wings, and try to get a overview of the situation because he is not having any of this, and a saber tooth paper monster is going to be dealt with in short order since his friends are now kind of trapped. So he's going to shoot up into the air, try to get a view of where his friends are and where this creature is, and then go after the creature.
Okay. Well, you can certainly, yeah, great big wings. Yeah, you can
Yes, I have
fly
great
right up.
big wings.
You don't have to roll to just fly up in the
No,
air
I'm just
and
going to no.
yeah. So this is the higher dimensional solution to a hedge maze or the Minotaur maze is to just go up above the walls and look down. So you can easily do that. You can see where your friends are. You can see where this creature is. You see that as you watch the librarian construct that had been there in the center sort of, does the book close effect and it's gone. But what would you like to do from here?
Um, I'm gonna go. I'm going to summon. I'm going to summon a sword of light and sound and go swooping down upon the saber-toothed paper tiger.
Okay.
With the cry that probably only Mirren would remember the language from. So we're talking old high Matani, so like a language hasn't heard in 3,000 years. A battle cry.
Sure.
Byron just face palms like, oh, he's gonna kill it.
Okay, so that sounds like you are going to unleash the dark. When you unleash the dark within you to enforce your will on someone physically, socially, or emotionally, spend darkness tokens and roll.
Yeah, I would spend 2 darkness tokens, and we will in your roll. Let's get this. Where's the dark? Where's my finger?
Oh,
Oh, spend the roll.
oh,
Oh,
we forgot to do our impulses again.
Oh,
no,
we
no,
did.
we did.
Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and do them right now while we're waiting for that roll to come up. So, as a reminder, for anyone, all of your character sheets have a set of things that you can choose between for a session impulse, and you can choose if you want something that you've already done. But it's the basic idea is it's a role play target, like a goal, something that you feel like you want to aim your character towards. So. Everyone should pick one now and then tell me what it is, and I'll put it on my little spreadsheet here so I'll know.
Go too far in search of the truth.
Go too far.
Did you find an innocent target for your grief, despair, or fear?
Try rolling this again.
For me, did I open my mind or heart to another monster?
There.
I feel like you did that already, just contacting the library. Myron.
Yeah, that was I was gonna do that the last session because I was like,
Yeah.
especially when we realized that it was a sentient thing traveling through the cosmos.
Sure.
How am I using John Deere? How did I come up with John Deere's thing? That's very good.
Oh, that's
Actually-
weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
What I missed.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm
well,
going to-
I'll reconcile that in just a moment, but go
Yep.
ahead and tell me what your impulse is.
Oh, I got impulse. Impulse.
Oh,
my impulse?
you're muted, Millie.
Sorry about that. Sir, did you surrender to the hunger within you at the worst possible moment? I'm about to.
Okay.
Okay, and the one I'm going to go is: Did you bless the week with the immeasurable glory of your presence?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, someone looks like they're dropping their glory right now.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so apparently I only rolled a 5, but I'm going to spend 2 bonds to get that to a 7 and a success.
No, so you need an 8 for
Oh,
success.
we need an 8. Oh, crap.
Yeah.
So I gotta spend 3 bonds.
Well, or
Yeah.
I mean, or you can let it be a miss. Remember,
Oh,
this
Yeah.
is
maybe that's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because this character is also about failure as well as success. This
Well,
character in particular.
I
So
mean,
yes, so yeah,
all of
I'll
these
let the
are,
miss
you know,
then.
like we're this is
Yeah.
No,
not a
but
min maxy
particularly
sort of game, right? You
no,
know, we're
I was reading a
yeah.
thing about I was reading about the fallen and how it's like is like trying
Mhm.
to reach for something and failing,
Okay.
and so yeah,
So,
I'm gonna
yeah.
I'll go with the miss then.
Okay, so on a 7 minus, you have greatly underestimated them. I think that as you roar and give off your war cry and fly down at this thing with your sword of light, you slash at it, and all of the pages making its form just part to allow the sword to go right through it with apparently no effect at all, and then it leaps upon you, and suddenly you find yourself like paper mache. Like all of these pages are like plastering themselves all over your body, and I would like you to take a condition.
All right, which condition shall we take? I will go with distracted
Okay.
because like
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
distracting. Yeah.
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 I think it's
All right. So Millie, sounds like you were getting ready to do something there.
Oh yeah, I'm getting well, now I have two possible worst moments. I'm gonna go with the worst one.
Okay.
Um, I'm going to try my best to get to where that little glowing thing is because that sounds
Oh,
tasty.
the little sample container.
Yes, that
Yeah.
oh
sounds
oh
tasty.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
uh-huh.
Okay, so I think you have a move that is to basically eat something weird, right? I mean,
Yeah. Well, there's gnawing edge of hunger. When
yeah.
the
Right.
basically trying to blunt the edges by of
Mm-hmm.
my hunger with
Yeah. So,
surrendering a little bit. I transform a little bit
mm-hmm.
and uh, to absorb whatever it is.
Right. So when you surrender to the hunger within you, describe how your body transforms and what you feed on. Then spend
Okay.
darkness tokens and roll.
So um basically my hair is going to grow and twist and surround the sample. And water is going to start kind of like seeping out from my both like my hair, my body, like everything. So, hi, wet t-shirt contest time. Um, but like so because part of the water is also to like draw every piece of it into me. Um, I've got 4 tokens. How I'm going to take. Let's see. I'm going to spend two,
Mm-hmm.
and then roll.
Disaster success.
Oh,
And that's a 13 too. So you'd need to spend 3 bonds to get that down to 10.
no, this
Go for
is
it.
part
Yeah.
of the worst possible
Well,
moment.
and exactly, especially it's kind of like the thing that we have just identified is really important. There's a monster that's attacking one of your teammates, but you go and eat the important thing. I think
Yes.
that is exactly the sort of thing that I was hoping for when I wanted to run this game. So, yes, on an 11 plus, your hunger grows deeper, edged with endless teeth as your humanity slips further away. Choose one of those two options there.
Okay, so um my options are so that everyone else knows when I'm going to make even a worse decision. Um One is ask the keeper what the harbinger within me screams for, gain a bond with what the darkness demands from you. And if I give into the harbinger, blah, 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 clear a condition.
Mm-hmm.
Or just give into the worst of your hunger, go too far, inviting chaos and terror. Name a new fear you have and create or replace a hunger condition to reflect this.
And one of the things that's relevant here is that having a new hunger condition is like one of the things that the hungry does. Like the way that someone is taken out of the scene in this game is to have all your conditions get filled, right? And so the hungry, by having more conditions, it's almost like extra hit points in that way, right? And so it does say that you are creating a hunger condition, not taking one. And
Yep.
so what that means is you would name it, if that's what you're doing. Which of the
Um,
two are you choosing?
I am actually go too far, name a new fear,
Okay.
and create or replace a hunger condition to reflect this. So, um, I am going to create a condition insatiable,
Okay.
Uh-oh.
because that's pretty much
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. And I believe that as what is you know what, I'm going to go ahead and say that you've created that and you are going to take it in this circumstance. But what happens, the experience of it is you eat the thing, so excited to try it,
Hmm.
but what you immediately discover, to your horror slash excitement, is that this stuff feels like solidified hunger. Like eating it, in the same way that those of
Hmm.
us with a sweet tooth know that you eat a piece of candy, it doesn't satisfy, it just makes you want another one.
Oh my God, it's the
Hmm.
interdimensional version of empty calories.
Yeah. And that's so like you eat it and it's interesting, it's exciting, it's
And I want
very
more of
enjoyable,
it.
but you just now you want more. And so I think all of the rest of you watch as Lady Dana, like, charges over and then consumes this thing, but then just starts lashing out and just like
Where is it?
like
Where is
well
it?
like big pieces of this equipment are getting consumed. You can describe how your body is doing that, but you're now starting to just focus on eating more and more of this equipment, desperate to find more of this stuff.
Yeah. So, basically, my hair is going to wrap around like pieces and like try to like break out open cases to get to the inside. Um,
Oh Lord.
Oh boy.
yeah.
uh, so I think in response to that, Pandorum, um, I mean, when everything is separates us, it just feels really. It feels like, oh, I'm alone. I'm the last again, and I will
Oh.
gain a couple darkness tokens because of feeling lost, lonely, or rejected.
Mm-hmm.
And then realizing, oh, hey, she's eating things that might be important. I would like to grasp keys, and because it's an emergency, basically, I kind of do a stop time and just like go through everything really quick and just kind of be a
Oh, okay. I
flash
see.
kind of
So
thing.
so you're basically trying to use your time distortion to look at everything before it gets eaten by your
Yes.
friend, your coworker, your
Yes.
work associate. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that sounds like I think because you are actively competing with another Omen class monster here, your power is very powerful. But so what I think that is the power through darkness move,
Oh,
because you're not interfering with her. You are instead pushing the limits of your supernatural powers, straining to do the extraordinary or avert imminent danger. But well, you know what? No, I take it back. You wanted to do the grasp keys move. That's
okay.
fine too. Yeah, we just do that.
Uh,
Yeah.
oh,
Um,
there it is.
Oh, well, you know what? I take it back. I will give you some non-key information with a power through the darkness because we got a key in this location already.
Okay, so power through darkness.
Yeah.
Then. Okay.
But like I'll give you fictional in-game information, just not that represents a key.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just
So it's the same move.
10.
Oh, look at that. A
Dang.
10. Power through the darkness on a 10. You use your powers with great precision and effect, changing the situation before you. Additionally, the keeper may offer you a reprieve, a golden opportunity, or a bond with someone. I think that I will let you take a bond with Lady Dana because this moment where you're sort of not trying to stop her, but just trying to work around her and understand what she's doing and where she's coming from in order to predict what she's going to kind of lash out at next. And I think that gives you some additional just understanding of how she operates and that sort of thing. But I think what you are able to discover a bit more context of this sample that she's now eaten is that it does seem to be um it seems to be an extract that is a very concentrated version of something that they think in like in the readouts of the equipment. There's some notes that suggest it's possible that this is something that the library senses and is drawn to. So this is a substance, like in terms of what guides the library and where it goes and what pulls it to one source over another. You think that they are studying and have identified that stuff seems to be something that draws the library.
And I just
Parasite
ate
library pheromones.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it.
and
And I just ate it.
uh so for the bond, I kind of have to give it a name.
Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, the bond is with Lady Dana.
Okay.
Like you don't have to name it other than that.
Okay.
I mean, you can add any context to it that you like, but that's specifically you just kind of.
Well, I like the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Lady Dana, hunger is as hunger does.
Okay, so Ningle is still getting
Yeah, right.
paper
I was
mache
looking at the
smothered.
wrong sheet, so I'm not distracted. I'm actually raging.
Well, that makes sense too.
So
Mhm.
so I am going to try to work even harder to try to destroy this tiger. And instead of weapons of light and sound, instead, well, nobody can see it because he's behind all these machines.
Well, so while you're wrapped up in that, I just want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to make a move if they're
right.
interested. That so no
Yeah.
worries, but just like did anyone else want to jump in, to do
Yeah,
something else?
I definitely want to have an opportunity here.
Okay.
Um, um, uh, uh, and there's all this stuff going on around him. There's fighting the thing, and there's the stuff, and there's just like, and he can't really. John can't see any of this stuff, but he knows that people are off there doing important stuff, and he feels ignored or unimportant. So I'm going to take 3 darkness tokens for that, and um, and the yeah so John takes out his tablet, and I'm going to use my power of darkness to machines powered by soul magic,
Mm-hmm.
and he manifests this mechanical, again, completely black silhouette giant mech basically, and climbs up inside it. And now he is taller than the hedge maze,
Mm-hmm.
and strides over to assist Ningle
Okay.
with his fight. Um, and yeah, I'm going to use the unleash the dark
Sure. Yeah.
um, move. I'm going to spend one darkness token because with Ningle there, I want to take a little less risk of an overwhelming success. Um, uh,
Okay.
and oh, I got a 6.
A 6. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna let that fail.
Okay, so you have greatly underestimated them. So I think as you are stomping over, you see how how these pages have kind of wrapped themselves all around
Mhm.
Ningle, and periodically you're seeing parts of Ningle kind of break free, but then get papered over again. But then as you watch, like the wind whips up around it, and you can watch the pages now starting to like puppet Ningle, and they make him slash at you with with Ningle's sword.
Okay.
And so I think you're going to need to take a condition as you are kind of forced back by Ningle's sword.
Okay. I think the one that makes the most sense in this situation is vicious.
Okay. Yeah, so like it is this is clearly a dangerous thing. This is not
Yeah.
just some creature that's a pushover. And so I think I want to offer that your matte black perfect silhouette
Mhm.
mech that you're wearing, um, I like to imagine that it has just sort of the equivalent of like a little cockpit window
Mhm.
where we see
Mhm.
your like the white face in there, but
Mhm.
also where so Ningle, your weapons of light, what color is the light?
Um, I think John Deere could see the colors because John Deere is otherworldly, as could my other Omen class monsters. To others, it probably looks white, but others, it's kind of like white shading into. Well, let's go the whole project into it and call it octarine for lack of a better word.
Sure.
A culture of color that mortals just cannot see.
Okay, so I think the TV show version has it be kind of like iridescent, like oil slick sort of thing. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that there are some big sort of like weirdly oozing slashes on your mech that are glistening with that
With
sort of
with
oil
that
sheen
color. Yeah.
iridescence.
Like
Yeah.
you've you've
Oh
harshed my
no.
groove.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's to feed his own blood.
All right, Myron, did you want to jump in with something?
Yes. So now that I have seen two of my friends attack a weird critter made of pages, and then another friend eats something that was seeming to be very powerful and important, things are getting dire. So Myron will begin to speak and he will say things and they can hear him. He says, I am exalted by the dreams of those I have consumed because he was inspired by his friend over there eating that jar.
We bring out the worst in each other.
We do. Um, but I am exalted. I'm crowned by dreams and exalted by nightmares. I will use one of the memories that I have in my brain to make a weapon, and I will have to mark ruin for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
this is a ruin move, which, as a reminder for folks, you don't roll for a ruin move. It just works, but you mark ruin.
yep.
Yeah.
And so what you all see is his hands become these things. They're like ravenous looking claws. They're like just dark and twisted, gnarly things, but they don't seem completely there. Like they exist somewhere else because this is a weapon of darkness. And I'm going to leap over to the saber tooth thing and attack it. But I don't want to kill it
Mm-hmm.
because I'm hungry. Pages or the knowledge in this place are just parts of knowledge or parts of someone's life, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they don't just spring out of nowhere. No, this books just did not exist. Someone, even the creature that made the library had to create the thing or the knowledge or source, right? I want to consume those. I want to consume this creature made of so many fragments of life.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, so it is too tough to be fully consumed in one go here, but you have certainly inflicted a condition on it, which is um, uh, shocked. And I think by virtue of inflicting that condition, it suddenly it reconsiders its tactics a little bit. It suddenly releases Ningle and sort of reforms into its saber-toothed tiger mode and kind of like hops back, sort of snarling. But you can see that there's like a chunk of where the shoulder would be that's just empty now.
And when you see, like, y'all see the chunk that I consume get grasped by one of these floating skulls in my slimy body. And for the moment, as it consumes it, you start hearing wails. And they're like, oh, I loved this new dress. My wedding was so beautiful. There was others like, oh, this is so sad. I couldn't believe they died so young. And then there's, I made a beautiful cake. Can you imagine this? Mom, can you come to my birthday party or whatever? And there's just so many different thoughts and things from different lives that just rip from this thing that was inside of me for a moment. And you just see me lick whatever is considered a mouth. And I'm just staring at this thing.
Yeah. So, like after that happens, the saber-toothed tiger sort of is looking at those of you that are confronting it at the moment, which is John Deere, Ningle, and Myron at least. I think
Yeah.
we'll see if Lady Dana and Pandorum are coming back over. But so it kind of had hopped back and it's sort of doing a reassessment, and then as it kind of crouches looking like it might be about to spring, you hear a voice coming from it saying, "Please, can you help? I'm lost. I'm lost. Help me."
From the tiger thing, or
It seems like it.
Okay. Uh, well, Pandoran, I kind of saying, I Pandoran would like to redirect Lady Dana from eating the equipment to going after the creature.
Okay. So I
So
think that's going to be an Unleash the Dark move.
unleash the dark. Okay.
Or I so because you're kind of insatiable, Millie, I am going to say like I think that this I wouldn't ordinarily have you make moves on each other, but this
yeah,
seems like a moment where you're kind of out of control, so you're being just
Okay.
directed is the idea. Is that cool with
yeah,
you?
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Sounds good. Okay. So yeah, I'm just uh gonna kind of go to Millie and say, or Lady Dana and say, hey, I got something else for you to eat over here if you want to. And yeah.
Like, so what? Are you trying to direct me to the
Well, so
tiger?
are you even
Yeah.
using your powers, or are you just you're just sort of
I'm
saying
not
that?
really using really using powers for it. I'm just
So
trying to speak.
feel free to contradict me here, Lady Dana. But my impression is that if all you're doing is talking and like waving your hands, that's not going to do it.
No.
Okay.
You've got an out of control Omen
Is
class
that something?
monster eating anything
So
it can get its hair around.
Bangs into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so if that's kind of the thing, then Pandora would be like, as the the hair picks up a piece of equipment, DNR or Pandora would slash across the air and a void will open and that thing will just disappear.
Okay.
And then Pandora would say, "Food over here."
All right.
More
Okay.
food.
So sure that. So I think then you're getting Lady Dana's attention in that way. Yeah, then that's going to be an Unleash the Dark move.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna. I'm going to not use any darkness at this time.
All right.
That sounds like fun. And
Okay,
that
and
is a miss.
that's a 5. Yeah. So that means you have greatly underestimated them. So I think that you have taken food out of the mouth of an insatiably out of
Oh,
control hungry
yeah.
Omen class monster
Yeah.
who is now looking at you. And I want to cut back to Ningle for a moment. But so, Ningle, you were struggling against this thing, but it seems to have now changed tactics. It's released you, but now it's talking to you in a strange voice.
It's talking to me in a strange voice, but I have the condition raging. So
Mm.
a nice, happy little child's voice right now. I might be tempted to play lies in a normal situation, but I'm angry and raging, so I'm just going to march towards it and
Give us a little
it's
taste of that rage. What does Ningle say heading over there?
your lies and deceptions are nothing. I am the king of lies and deceptions, and I will end you. And I unleashed. I'm going to spend 2 tokens and unleash the dark as I decide to try to redeem myself from what happened last time here.
Okay.
Let's see. Unleash the dark on the right sheet this time.
Okay, so
Oh,
that's a
Lordy
13.
mercy.
Disastrous
Lordy.
success. Nice.
Ooh.
So, yeah, on an 11 plus, your control falters and you go too far. You choose one from the list above. So the 8 to 10 list, you choose one of those things.
Inflict a condition.
Inflict another condition on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bearing in mind that if you do not choose avoid reprisals, harm, or cost, that means it's absolutely available to me to give one
Yeah,
to you.
he's way too blind with rage to care.
Yeah. So I think that so like you're just going in there with the sword.
So with sword with the herald of my goddess, yes,
Nice.
I'm going to represent or try to anyway.
All right. So I think that what happens here is that your rage just gets the better of you and you're doing significant, like, you're hitting it this time. It's you're moving fast enough it's not able to completely part its pages around your sword in the way that it did before, and you are going to inflict another condition on it, which is frightened. And it is not out yet, but it only has one more condition that it can take. But I think what you recognize as it is starting to flee from you, there's a moment where you have just an instant of clarity and you realize your form was sloppy because you're just out of control, and everyone else just watched you lose it.
Oh, everyone saw it. My colleagues saw it.
So they it's one thing to be angry at an opponent, but they watched you just like freak out about it. So I need you to take another condition.
Oh, Lord, it's not good. Let's see. I'm going to go with forlorn, because now I feel shamed in the front of my
Yeah. And furthermore, John says, Ningle, get hold of yourself.
That's the salt.
Yep. And I'm going to take 3 darkness tokens for asking someone to ignore their heart. And I'm going to unleash the dark on the creature.
All right.
I'm spending 2 darkness tokens.
Okay. So what is your move that you're trying? Is it still with the mech?
Yeah. I mean, he's I'm going to say that like one arm is now kind of sparking and not working properly, but
Mm-hmm.
he's still in the fight, and he kind of does that thing where anime mech things kind of take a particular pose and then an attack goes off. So
Mm-hmm.
a whole bunch of completely black missiles just kind of escape from its backpack and arc through the air.
Yeah. So there's a point where you like get in a big stance to like brace yourself, and then is it
Yeah,
like one of those things where it's like a whole box and like dozens of little rockets
yeah,
come
yeah,
out of it?
yeah. Ripple salvo, all that,
Nice, nice.
everything all at once. Yeah,
Okay, but you rolled an 11.
yeah.
Uh,
And no, but I only need one bond to bring that down to a
it's
10.
true. It's true.
So yeah, well, I mean, what's the bonds for except spending them?
I don't know, I
So
mean, yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna um, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna spend the bond with Pandorum
Okay.
because um, he's like around here, so kind of the targeting reticle um, uh, indicates danger to uh, uh, um, what's it called? Corollary damage? No, collateral damage.
Collateral.
Collateral
Mhm.
damage.
Collateral damage warning comes
Mhm.
up, and so he kind of steps to the side and lines it up better
Okay.
before unleashing it.
Nice. Okay, so that would reduce it to a 10, which on an 8 to the 10, 8 to 10, you wield the darkness with control and ease. Choose 2 from that list.
I'm going to get past their defenses and avoid reprisals, harm, or cost.
Perfect. Okay, so yes, I think that all of these little rockets fire out, and as they impact this like the pages of this thing, it's just like it's it's a rocket through
Confetti.
paper, right? Like it's just like I think the whole shape of it is just sort of like blasted into confetti. Yeah. And I think as you watch just the little, tiny little smoldering remnants of this paper sort of drifting down, you hear the voice just say, "I was just trying to find myself."
Hmm.
And then it's gone. Meanwhile, I think those of you fighting this thing are just like, "Ha, well, that's sorted." And then you look over and see your Lady Dana about to eat Pandorum.
Yeah. So let's see.
Uh, I
Again,
I will
I
off. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
well, so I do have a move called Gaze into My Heart's Abyss,
Okay.
which is when you reveal your heart to someone, you may show them how your hunger ravages and breaks you.
Mm-hmm.
If you do, choose from one of the below, even on a miss. Whisper of how you wish to feed on them and leave nothing behind. Gain one bond with them, which I think is the most appropriate one right now. Because, like, all right, you want me to feed on something else?
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Okay.
Kind of,
Well, one note, like
but
I think that's a great move to do. I'm just going to mention that the torn between move is another move that this is an example of when you might use it.
oh
Cause,
yeah,
because
that
you're well, and I'm not telling you to use it because your idea is good too, but like you know to destroy the good and those I care for, like the dark demands of you, and like this idea,
hmm
this feeling like you just want to eat everything, but you're maybe feeling like there's a part of you that's still more human
yeah,
that doesn't want to do that. And so torn between is another example. This is a good example of when that move
yeah.
might be, but you also have this gaze into my heart's abyss, so that could be good too. So because
I'm okay with either
Actually,
one, honest.
I'll go with torn between because
right,
I
because
do like
you can then also do reveal your heart once everything's calmer,
come
right?
down
Like because you
and
can do that as a move anytime.
yeah.
Okay.
Um,
So the torn between move is not a roll. It's just a
right.
choice, right? Um,
Um,
it's so let's see. I'm trying to flip to that page. Torn between. You make a choice when you're torn between your monstrous nature and your human heart, or when you are tempted by what the darkness demands of you. You choose either let your monstrous nature show and describe the damage your outburst causes and mark one ruin, or Describe how you diminish your power and conform to the pressures of humanity and lose all your current darkness tokens. Or spend a bond with someone and describe how they, directly or inadvertently, help you regain control.
Actually, so I'm going to spend my bond with Pandorum actually, as Pandorum remembers um uh
Yeah.
let me go back into here because like when I'm looking at it uh
It was
yeah it's like when at least the way that the page looks to me it's like I don't get a lot of the stuff that I wrote in the actual,
what I had
but it's like Pandorum remembers me
they knew you before
back before
you got claimed by
before
the
I
hunger.
was
Yeah.
before I came a monster.
Mhm.
So kind of the as my gaze shifts to them for trying to interrupt my meal here, like that memory of seeing Pandorum before I became a monster helps, like that
Mhm.
like shocks me a little bit of wait a second, I know this person, they've been uh, like they know what I'm capable of and still stepped in front of me, and that kind of shakes me out of my
Okay.
hunger a bit,
All right.
or at least gives me a bit something else to think about than hunger.
Mhm.
Okay. So you're a little bit you now.
I'm
So
a little bit more
but
me now.
uh, I think what we need is somewhere else. I learned a little bit about what you ate. Um, apparently, I think something is baiting this thing to where it's to the archive. So uh,
Is that a key that
it could go.
we need to add then?
I
No.
how well so
Um,
we didn't do it as a key. What I
Okay.
was thinking is that because of this, the creature that came, I'll let you potentially do a grasp keys around that. But in this case, it was just kind of extra information for flavor. But
Okay.
you've
Okay.
got the key from this location already. Is the idea?
Okay. Okay.
I basically I'm thinking of it in character mind. It's like
Hmm.
there'd be more
Yeah.
information about that elsewhere.
Well,
So
and in any case, that is more information about the key that you
Oh,
have.
okay.
It's not a new
Okay.
key, right?
I'm adding it to
Yeah.
the key
Hmm.
on the page.
Yeah.
okay, okay. Um, let's get to the others.
So all of the machines had kind of not completely stopped moving just when the creature was destroyed, but increasingly you're starting to hear gears grind and the pieces moving, and then some of them get stuck together,
Yeah,
and you hear sparks, and then the whole place is kind of starting to shudder, and you watch some of the telescopes hanging from the ceiling start to.
Okay, yeah, guess that's
Okay.
did I do that?
I'm going to go over to Ningle, um, help him up onto his tail, um, uh, and um, and uh, and reveal my heart.
Do you
Um,
let yourself be helped up, Ningle?
I do.
Okay, nice.
I'm
and
forlorn, but I'm not that far
Sure.
gone yet.
yeah, and um, I'm I'm tempted to be vicious, but I'm going to let that go.
Hmm.
Um, and um, and say we'll spar when we get back to the back to division. Um, and so I am more on the order of giving someone instructions,
Okay.
I'll take a darkness point for that. But yeah, I will spend 2 on reveal your heart.
Okay, so I think I want to hear a little bit more about how what is John Deere revealing, right? The whole point of this move is that you are
Okay.
confessing something to
Yeah.
them, you're revealing something, you're making yourself vulnerable
Making
in
a
order to
connection.
connect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of new at this whole superhero thing. Um, and I'm playing it by ear more often than I'd like to admit a lot of the time. Um, I'm glad you're on our side.
All right. So go ahead and spend your tokens and roll.
6.
Okay.
Okay.
Something interrupts or undermines the moment.
Yeah. So I think that what happens just as John Deere was about to say that before Ningle could really reply in any way, suddenly Myron, who is nearby, is confronted by another librarian construct who is saying, I did discuss with you that you would need to keep your accoutrement under control, and as you can see, we have sustained quite a bit of damage to the observatory. I'm afraid I will have to ask you to leave the area so we can repair. And is starting to make, like, get out, like, hand waving motions to all of you. And in fact, I think a duplicate of them appears by each of you doing the same sort of, like, get away, sweeping you away sort of gesture at each of you.
Pandorum won't react with violence because Pandorum is wanting to get out of here anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So, Ningle, we don't have to force you to not react to what John Deere said, but it means that, like, the interruption means there won't be a mechanical benefit.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the appearance of the librarian next to all of us kind of short circuited that, and so I'm still still in the depths of both anger and despondency at the same time. So it's like, he's very, very. He's not a happy camper. He's forlorn and angry.
Are each of these librarians that appear different? That look different?
Yes.
Or they. Oh,
Yeah. Each
Your
time
own
you see a
personal
new
librarian.
one, they seem to resemble a different human.
Okay. Cool. So, is there anything that keeps us from getting out of the observatory?
No. In fact, the path is being cleared for you unless anyone of you is doing something.
Yep. Okay, we'll get it. We're getting out.
Yeah, y'all see Myron pause for a moment, and you see his hands kind of flexing and closing, but he turns and leaves and mumbles very audibly that he is still hungry. Because, Mr. John Deere, you killed what he was going to eat.
Well, so for that matter,
I didn't
because
kill anything. Well, okay.
Myron, I will let you grasp keys as a result of the little chunk that you ate.
Ooh.
And I assume you mean of the paper tiger.
Yes. I was definitely going to
Did
eat
people
all
get
of the
that
paper
pun
tiger.
before I just said it?
Wow. Wait.
I was too busy with games.
Yeah. No
And
worries.
I was too busy with Shiny over there to eat.
Oh, sure. Well, so Myron, as you're kind of digesting that, I will let you grasp keys.
Yes. I've got 2.
Because I had already said about that location, but that creature was a new addition, so I'll allow for that.
I will use 1 darkness.
Okay.
Or 1 darkness for this.
Okay.
Oh crap. There we go. All right, here we go. Click it.
Okay, a 9, perfect hit. So perfect hit for grasp keys is you uncover a key. The keeper will tell you what it is. And so I think, let's see.
I'll record this if nobody else wants to.
Just on the sheet. Okay,
Right.
I thought you meant like the Zoom call or something. Okay, I think that, yeah. Okay, here's what you get that I'm gonna say is a key. Is you you realize that the that creature somehow was manifested not from, like, the way that the library would consume books or information of an already archived nature is one thing. But when it actually takes memories from living individuals, sometimes the miscellaneous ones kind of animate in that way. And so that creature was essentially made of memory debris. And in particular, you find in some of this sort of partially digested memory sand that is coming out of what you consumed, you discover one of Ningel's memories from here in the library of him speaking to a creature that looks like it's made of worms, but like humanoid sized, but like just writhing worms in a big green cloak, and speaking with this swarm or whatever it is, and being angry that it's not being more helpful. But then you also have another memory from Pandorum, watching that conversation happen, where what the worm is doing is different than what Ningel's memory was. So essentially, you have two different versions of the same event that played out differently. And I think so the key here is that living memories can animate, but conflicting memories are more likely to create hostile entities.
Wow.
And in particular, you think it's possible that the fact that those two conflicting memories belonging to your group is part of what drew the creature to you all. Like it was trying to resolve the conflict. I'm getting practice doing these keys. I think I'm actually elaborating on them and making them a little more complicated than is really intended. But I suspect you guys don't mind too much.
No.
Oh, not at all. Can I use the flashes and fragments of memories that I got from taking this form of the one who kind of created the library to kind of put together where that creature would have come from? If they've taken living memories from something and they can animate, then where did that creature come from since it was drawn to us?
I think it's in the loft.
Well, yeah, so there was, you were told by the librarian that something known as hungry worm was in the loft.
Oh, I didn't mean about that. I meant about the actual saber-tooth page creature. Since it was drawn to us, like where did it come from, or where did they consume the living thoughts from? Maybe.
I mean, I think that your memories of or like from that entity don't really have. They don't necessarily know that thing specifically.
Okay.
They don't know everything. I mean, if they did, they wouldn't have to go places and ask questions, would they?
Indeed.
Right.
So we should. So I look at the guys and we say, we should go find this worm, this hungry worm that the librarian spoke of. I think that might be whom we're looking for, not the traveler that we have in your book, John.
Hmm.
You think the worm is the true adversary?
I do, but I don't know what I don't really know what it means. There's something about I've seen you, Ningle, and I've seen Pandorum, and it's the same, but it's not the same. Hmm,
Hmm.
it's hard to make sense of. It's confusing.
So, one thing that I want to just point out briefly here is that you can really, at any time that you want, choose to do the unlock Doom's Door move. And as a reminder, the way that move works is you instead of adding darkness tokens, you roll the 2d6 and then you add the number of keys you have and subtract the complexity of the mystery, which is 4. So right now, with 4 keys, it would be a straight roll, which statistically is going to be, a little bit underpowered, right? But like you could do the move now is the point, and so that's why I'm mentioning it. And the I mentioned that as preface to ticking the doomsday clock again.
I think we've got time to get one more key before the doomsday
Yeah,
clock.
and so as this particular doomsday clock tick has us cutting away from our characters for a moment, and we watch as there is a bookshelf somewhere in the library. We can't really see where, but there is a bookshelf, and there is a an ancient looking one of those big tomes, the ones that's like 2.5 feet tall and just big thick pages, and it's on a stand. And as you watch one of the pages kind of being torn, like turned, and then the next one is torn out, and you can't quite see the figure that's doing it, but they have taken one specific page out of this ancient book. And this is another question that you all can contribute here is what once thought lost source of secrets is this tome? And I have an idea, but this is an opportunity for you all to also collaborate.
Um,
What if that tome is all the missing memories that we've had in this place? Like, remember when we met the guy that came with us, and he was like, do you remember this time? And he's seemingly been there for a while. He had stubble. So all this
Right.
missing time and the different points that we can't remember or that have happened that we can't remember, what if they're in that book?
And now this being has cherry picked what it wants.
Because the missing memories are part of this parasitic library, right? It's because
Right.
it doesn't destroy them; it just consumes them and
So-
keeps them. So what if the thing that it's keeping is that book?
or all the missing memories are recorded in that book.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds kind of cool. And it's not just us, it's anyone who's encountered the library and has
Or
So,
lost their memory to it.
so parts of what's missing from Division is also included in that book.
well, see
Yeah.
what I was assuming that Jason meant is that it was literally the memories stolen from you since you've been in here.
Yeah.
But
That's
what I
I
think
thought.
is
Yeah.
kind of fun about that is that it means potentially that perhaps the Harbinger's plan somehow involved, like, the target was your memories.
And getting us into the parasitic library in the first place.
It's been a trap all
because
along.
because let's be real, guys. If we're all Omen class monsters, Pandorum and I have both been alive for millennia. You are an associate of death, and
Yeah,
this
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
and Ningle from an ancient civilization that's no longer here, right? And
Yeah.
Right.
and Lady Dana's literally consumed so many things.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you so here's the thing though. Your characters don't know that,
Yeah.
right? It's like so this is
No.
an intrigue cutaway. What's the villain
Yeah.
doing? Right? Okay, so but in the meantime, you're being
We're going to go to the attic.
the loft, but
Well,
sure,
It's
you know,
loft.
it's also an attic. It's fine.
Mm.
Um
Anybody
yeah.
else
And
getting
I'm gonna
Page Master vibes?
and I am going to be petty and stick my tongue out at the librarian individuals as we leave the room because they're spoiling my fun and take a darkness token for it.
They look just as offended as you would like them to.
Yay.
You can't take just one. You have to take at least two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I take two
Yeah.
because it worked.
Yeah. So I think you head back through. You can go to the loft from where you are without going back by that entry foyer, but you can also choose to do that if you like. Are you just heading straight for the loft?
I think we should head straight to the loft because that might
Mm-hmm.
delay us.
Fewer opportunities to be interrupted.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you make your way up some stairs. You've managed to, there's a series of stairs and then ladders that it's following. And then there's this series of mezzanines that are kind of surprising because you feel like the mezzanine is looking down on the level before, but when you were on that level it seemed to just have a ceiling. It didn't seem like it was open above, but when you're on the mezzanine you can see down. But you are going up many levels until you have started to see that you've reached the top of what appear to be all the shelves, and you are now in a more like a crawl space catwalk, exposed beams sort of area. But you can see that in various corners there are like weird like insect nest like clumps here and there that seem like almost like a wasp nest being built in an open ceiling, right? And so you see a few of those up there, uh, and you are in the loft.
Is it kind of closed in? Dark and closed in, kind of.
I think there are parts that are like you can go off into these smaller, more cramped areas, but there's also a big part of it that is just like, it's sort of very exposed. Like you could be walking along sort of a catwalk that would be above what seems to be hundreds of feet below, even though, as I mentioned, when you were down there, it didn't seem like it was open to the top.
Mm-hmm.
not including geometry again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, it is dark and musty up here compared to where you were.
Yeah.
So Ningle's at the back of this group, and every so often, if he finds something he can hit, he'll just swing his tail and smash it because he's feeling both forlorn and separated from the group and still angry. So I'm going to take 2 darkness tokens for embodying both my conditions.
All right.
And I think this is the point where Pandorum would like to, turn to Ningle and say, we need to be careful. There's, basically going to try and reveal my heart.
Okay.
We need to be careful. Not only is this a very dangerous situation, potentially unstable, this feels like one of my previous deaths. And I remember myself and my fellow acolytes beating our fingers bloody against the door that collapsed on us. And all the time it's just getting mustier and so dark, and we just need to be you and I just need to be calm so we can get through this. And so, yeah,
So let's make a
Mhm.
roll. See what
Yeah.
happens.
yeah. Get to the right roll. Gotta find the right move. Okay.
Sure.
There it is.
Yeah.
And spend the darkness. Oh, well,
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
meaning to spend the
Oh,
darkness on that.
Well, oh, okay. Yeah. So
Spend
it
them.
didn't. It looks like that 5 did
Yeah,
not include any of the.
yeah, it was supposed to. I tried
Okay.
to add it and it just rolled.
All right. Well, were you trying to add one or?
Just one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so that would still just be a 6.
And I think I will go ahead and yeah, spend a bond with Ningle.
So you need to spend 2 bonds.
Well, okay.
They don't have to be with the same person, but we would
I
want.
was okay.
Yeah, you need to get to 8 for it to be a success.
Okay. Because my okay. I was wanting to put darkness on there, but it did not
No,
let me.
so I will allow that you meant to spend 1. So if you reduce your number of darkest tokens by 1, I'll let that count.
Yeah.
But that would
Oh,
still
it's
make it a
gotta be
6. It has to be
okay,
an 8.
okay,
Yeah.
So you
yeah.
need 2 bonds
Yeah.
to make it.
Okay. Yeah, I see what that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to spend it with Myron because you know, he doesn't understand this kind of thing. So maybe Ningle will.
Mm.
And so yeah, I'll
Okay.
spend my 2 bonds with Myron.
All right. And
Yeah.
so that would make it from a 6 to an 8, which means your heart reaches theirs. Choose one, and you choose from this list of 4 things. So you do that first. So, you grow closer, gain 1 bond with them. They soothe your heart, you clear 1 condition. They taught you something important, mark XP, or they gave you hope, clear 1 ruin.
I'm going to clear a condition.
Okay.
This.
All right.
And
no
I'm
longer
going to
despairing.
I'm going to clear one of my 2 conditions
Okay.
at the same
So,
time.
because you are a PC and you choose to deepen the connection, meaning like you accept this vulnerability and you like are open to the connection, and
Yeah.
so you can clear a condition of your own.
Yeah, I'll clear the forlorn for the moment.
All
I'm
right.
still angry, but I'm no longer like this.
Yeah.
The sad sack.
Sure.
Okay.
And so, just as a reminder too, that y'all have gotten used to spending your bonds now. This move is how you get new ones.
Yeah.
There are other things that can do it also, but this is one of the main ones. And so, like we talked earlier about your move for Lady Dana. That is when you reveal your heart for
Yeah.
certain. Like you could do that. Like so, that's how you get those bonds back. Now that you're familiar with spending them.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so
And I'm going to reveal my heart to Pandorum and gaze into my heart's abyss with you know, just being a little careful the next time you try to get between me and what I'm
Eating.
feeding on, because you could have very, very easily become what I would be eating. Um, so
remember, this needs to be about like you sort of making yourself vulnerable, revealing something about
yeah,
you too. So, like, I mean,
well,
Yeah.
basically,
Well, part of the I guess that could be part of the conversation. It's like, well, I wanted to take your hunger and direct it to something more useful. So
yeah, but it
how
almost
I can do
became you, and
mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't want to. The more human part of me doesn't want to eat you. Doesn't want to eat
Mhm.
anyone. It's just this thing that I've become doesn't doesn't want to let go, doesn't want to let something get away, and you were taking things away. So I I
Well,
I, I don't want you to be my next meal.
That's great. Would you like to go ahead and do your roll?
Yep. Let me
So your gaze
put.
into your heart's abyss will let you do some stuff even if you miss, but you still do the main roll.
Yep. Let's put one darkness in and roll. Oh.
Okay, well, that's a 6.
Okay. Well,
Getting a lot of misses on our
but
monsters are still a little struggling.
but at least with this,
Mm-hmm.
with the gaze into my heart's abyss,
Mm-hmm.
um, even if I do miss,
Yeah.
I can um
Yeah. It's.
I'll whisper how I wish to feed on them and leave nothing behind.
Mm-hmm.
So to gain one bond with them
Yeah.
is the option I'm going for.
All right.
so how do you wish to feed on me and leave nothing behind?
I mean, I
Um
kind of said that already, but like if you
yeah,
want to
and
elaborate.
Okay.
basically you would have been entrapped in my hair with um water rushing between the every cell of your body to try to absorb it into mine.
Oh wow, very nice imagery.
Okay. So I think on those moments, it's a little bit early, but let's go ahead and start doing our session wrap up stuff, and we'll leave what you find in the loft for next
For
time.
next time.
Um, so, how do you all feel about those session wrap up stuff? Do you like it when I kind of go through them individually, or would you? Yeah, sounds. I'm
Yeah,
seeing nods.
especially
Okay.
since we
Yeah,
haven't done
this is only the second time
systematic
we're
for a
doing
while.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Yes,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that like that we have a style that works for everybody. So let's start with John Deere. Your impulse this time was to go too far in search of the truth. Did you feel like you got a chance to do that?
Yeah, I think so with the early part of the observatory scene.
Hmm.
Um, um, with using the book to capture the wanderer.
Okay.
He's still in there, by the
He's
way.
Yeah.
still in there, and
Mhm.
yeah, I can't imagine that this is
Well,
not
and also a reminder that what the move says is that they are caught within there for now.
for now.
For
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
So yeah, I think I got an XP for that. I think.
Great. Okay. Did you express your monstrous nature and or express your humanity?
It got interrupted, but I think there was that moment with
Hmm.
with
You did do the
Mingle.
move, yeah.
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 Hmm. Uh,
Um,
did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
there's that crumpled up piece of paper in my pocket.
Uh-huh.
Mm,
Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
Hmm. Can't think of anything off the top of my head. Anybody have a suggestion about that? Because, I mean, there's a lot going on, but not necessarily that John was
Hmm.
involved with. I don't think I got that one.
Hmm.
yeah, we could not watch the Lady Dano and
Yeah.
Pandora interaction,
Yeah.
so I don't
Yeah.
think we actually got the full
Yeah.
force of that.
Right.
And I did not uncover a key or attempt to unlock Doom's door, so I'm going to mark one ruin.
Okay. Didn't who got the key that was the sample container? I thought was that
I
not
thought
you?
that was no.
Yeah, I
Is
thought.
that me?
I
Yeah.
thought it was you.
Yeah, that was you.
That was Nobilits.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobilits got the key this time.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that is John Deere. So.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm?
Yep. I remember now.
Yeah. All right. So for Ningle, the impulse you took was to bless the weak with your glory.
I'm not quite sure the tiger was weak though. The tiger was pretty
Yeah,
strong.
it seemed pretty strong actually.
So I didn't really overawe over
Mhm. You
our
well,
friends.
and you finished it off, but you did it in kind of a way that was ultimately a little bit embarrassing.
Yes. So no, I did not. I did not do my impulse.
Hmm. Did you express your monstrous nature and or express your humanity?
I mean,
You
I
did.
flew through the air. I went raging. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think I did. I think I get that one for sure.
Yeah. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
Um, not yet.
Okay.
So I don't
No.
think so.
Did you uncover a key of the apocalypse or attempt to unlock Doom's door?
I did not.
If not, mark one ruin.
Yeah, it's like I am. I need to push for keys because my rune's up to 2 guys.
Hmm.
So at least I got
Well,
experience this time.
remember, if you get to 5 ruin, then you do a
Right.
ruin advance. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. For Pandorum, your impulse was to find an innocent target for your grief or despair.
I'm gonna say no
Hmm.
because my like if I had tried to blow up the boiler and the library's innocent, it's being baited to do what it
Mm-hmm.
does.
Yeah,
That would match, but
but did you kind of ended up getting directed away
yeah,
from that? Okay.
yep.
Did you
Which
express?
I'm
Oh,
okay with.
yeah. Did you express your monstrous nature and or express your humanity?
Yes, I think
I
I
think
actually
so.
did
Yeah.
both,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's still only one
Let's
experience.
see. Does I think I think yeah. With this one, it is just like if you do either, you get one,
Yeah,
as opposed to
both.
yeah. Well, I just mean like there's other moves like in Blades of the Dark, for example, where it's like if you feel like you did it a bunch, you can take two. But I think in this one, it is just the one.
Yeah.
All right. Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
Uh, yes, I learned how I I learned a little deeper about what it would be like to be consumed by Lady Dana.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think that
Yeah.
counts for sure.
And
Uh,
did you skip one?
Oh
Did you
yes.
learn
Did you
something?
learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
I hmm. I learned the thing about how what uh that I could be missing stuff about what happened with the people that originated me, but
Yeah. I mean,
that
I might lean to say like that's almost more of a possibility than a fact, right?
okay,
Like
yeah,
you realize that it could be that you have lost lots and you don't wouldn't have any way to know.
okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, then
So, but I mean, it's your call, but that's kind of my initial
yeah,
thought.
it yeah, my uh thing about it matches that, so
Okay.
I'm gonna say no
Sure.
on that one.
All right. So, did you uncover a key?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm, nope. Mark one ruin.
I got ruined.
All right.
I am up to one ruin.
All right.
Victory.
Well done. So, for Myron, your impulse was to open your heart to another monster.
I
Uh,
did. I opened it up to our wonderful parasitic library.
yeah. So here's a question for everyone. Like, I have no objection to that being the answer for that, but do we think that we want the intent for these when it says another monster? Does that mean another PC? Or does it just mean like another monster? I mean, I'm
think
happy
they're
either way. I
kind of
just want you to.
I think I really think if it was intended to be another PC, it would mention it
Hmm,
because by basically the mechanics of the game,
hmm.
the PCs are
Yeah,
monsters.
it's true. I mean,
Oh, and
like for
we
it, sometimes it says your fellow monster or something like that.
yeah, and we also
Yeah.
have those characters that we made to kind of go along with ours.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like mine is another monster is just doing something else within the division.
Yeah.
So I think it could work. I think it's just generally something that's not immortal, I would say.
Okay. So yeah, I think you know, I'm happy with us interpreting that. However,
yeah.
whatever feels right.
I think if we do it too much, it misses
Mm-hmm.
the interpersonal level that it's
Yeah.
supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, if
I
it's
think,
supposed.
well,
eh,
not all mysteries are going to lend themselves so well towards the idea that you literally are trying to tap into the mind of this monstrous thing. And so not all mysteries are going to lend themselves to that. But
Yeah.
but I feel like it makes sense that if we create a monstrous NPC and you actually sort of develop a relationship with them and you open your heart to them, I feel like that should count,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a
Yeah.
PC. Is my ruling. So I just wanted to talk through
I'm
that.
just cautioning against doing that too much.
I agree. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That exactly why I thought to bring up the question. Did you express your monstrous nature and or express your humanity?
I did. I got to nibble on that innocent saber-toothed tiger leaf creature.
Innocent.
Innocent, perhaps. Dangerous, still.
Yes.
Sure, certainly.
Very.
Yeah. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
No. No.
Yeah.
I've gotten hints of some things, but nothing too concrete.
Yeah. Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
No, not yet. I'm hint. There's still hints because I've got the thing, but I did get a key, which
You
is
sure did. So
the
no
dual memories.
No extra ruin for you, but you already did a ruin move, so you got one this session anyway. Right?
My ruin and my
Yeah.
my I got one last session for not finding a key.
Yeah.
I got one for using a ruin move this time, and now I've got I think it's 3 experience, I think, or 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it one per object? It's one per thing, right?
Well, I'm seeing so 2 XP, 2 ruin is what I'm seeing on your sheet right now, but
Okay. Oh, you get an XP for the impulse too, right?
yeah.
Okay. You can also choose ruin for that.
Yeah, at the end of
Yeah.
if you can mark XP or ruin for the impulse one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Definitely gonna mark ruin for that.
Okay. I mean, the ruin stuff is cool. It's and you honestly do have to work pretty hard to actually become a harbinger, to do that. But the story mechanics absolutely allow for that to happen. But there's also lots of ways to kind of pull it back in case of you just finding you're accumulating a lot, but you don't really want to go further down that road. So like we can if
There's
anyone
ways
ever
to drop ruin too.
yeah. So it should be fun to kind of toy with that. If it ever feels like real anxiety, talk to me and we can figure out how to work that out. But okay, so that was Myron's, and last but not least, Lady Dana. Your
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I so went with
Yes,
the
you
hunger
sure
at the
did.
worst possible
Uh-huh.
moment.
Uh-huh.
I'm almost wondering if that should be a ruin, not an XP.
I mean, that's entirely your call, but that seems
Yeah,
reasonable to me.
That's a ruin.
Yeah.
Did I express my monstrous nature? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you
I
learn
don't
something?
think I didn't really learn anything about myself.
Well, yeah, and or your impending ruin. I mean, that's fine, but yeah, you kind of like you just expressed the part you knew about already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I learned something significant about a fellow monster. Well, Pandorum is willing to get in between me and my food if it means saving information. But other than that, not really.
I mean, like I said, it's entirely up to you and kind of how you're playing your character, how you envision them. If you feel like it's meaningful enough.
I mean,
My-
basically, it's something that you might know what can happen later.
Mhm.
Yeah, it
yeah, like
can make something less surprising in the future.
Right.
well, it's like you're not it's like you're not afraid of me if you're willing to get in front of me while I'm in the middle of a
Not afraid enough.
yeah. Not afraid or not afraid enough.
Yeah.
But I'm not no, not yet.
Okay.
And I did not
Get a key. So.
get a key or try to figure out the door.
Okay. So that's ruined. So, do people like stars and wishes? Do you want to keep doing that, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
I-
Yeah. Okay.
I have a star for Nobilis for finishing off a creature with an Etano Circus in a tabletop game. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, I had flashbacks to Macross. Okay, it was great.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yep.
except there's not as much like color, and it's all that silhouette style.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely not one of the mainstream anime publishers.
That's great.
Well,
Listen,
no, it's the old school black and white stuff.
yeah, to be fair, the Otado Circus is old. It's named after a dude who's like the like lead animator and kind of creator behind Macross. Like he's known for it. Like it's ridiculous animation. So you get like cool samurai silhouettes with like the like the like the red background with just the shadows doing the thing. I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to give a star out for the description of you know losing control, going too far on the hunger, because I kind of had like you know human growing more monstrous as and like arms of hair going out and just like that just formed a picture in my mind. It's like yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, also big stars to Christiana, because I like the description of these clues. Because if this is because I'm a sucker for movies like Death on the Nile
Mm-hmm.
and things of that nature. So like having these more like in-depth clues makes it so much more fun, like in that who done it sort of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so the challenge that I'm learning, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And the challenge which I enjoy is because I cannot give you the answer to the mystery, because I can't tell you what it is, because the dice might say you're wrong, even if I thought that that was the right answer, right? And so what I have to try to do is give enough information for it to be interesting, but without it being something that entirely solves the puzzle, right? So that's part of the challenge there. I want it to be interesting but still mysterious, because it has to still be puzzle pieces that you all put together. But yeah, thank you. I'm gonna give a star to Paul for Ningle's, like, raging out and freak out and just kind of that whole just going right for this monster, and it's just like, nope, I'm gonna just fight this thing, and then it just kind of all getting a little out of control, and being willing to just roll with a miss. Like, we got several folks doing that later, but yeah, just that was some good stuff.
Yeah, this was fun tonight, guys.
Oh yeah, this is definitely fun. Yeah. I enjoy this a lot.
I'm
Actually,
going to yell out another star, though. I said it even in the middle of the session, but just for the give in to the hunger at the worst moment and going to eat the key, the sample container. That's good stuff. That's what this game's all about. That sort of thing.
remember, like I just feel like it was the cat from the marble thing that gave Sam Jackson his star.
Yeah,
Oh, yep.
the flirkin.
Flirkin.
Great. Okay, so wishes. Reminder: wishes, just like something you're looking forward to doing in a future session, or something you would like to see happen.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm looking forward to seeing just who can eat the most.
An eating contest.
Yeah.
And I just I would just want all of you guys to know that I will try to eat this library at some point. Now that within the canon I have that I can consume books as fragments of life, I will try to eat this library, because wait for it, it's attached itself to our headquarters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The best way to protect the headquarters is to get rid of the threat, and what if I eat it?
Mm-hmm.
You're not the only one to have had that thought. Go figure.
Yeah.
By the way,
It's in my name.
By the way, what y'all didn't see was after Lady Dana had eaten all the machines and was walking out, sticking her tongue out at the librarian, Myron did a fist bump.
Yeah. Nice.
A wish I have is to find out more about Marcus Finch, because they're just like, it doesn't seem important, but it's something. and
Mhm.
that just
Itches at you.
I
Yeah.
just feel
Well,
like I need
y'all
to know.
haven't tried to grasp keys in the foyer there. You could if you wanted, I guess.
I'm trying to. I'm getting some interstellar vibes from him. Like I hope he's not on the. I hope we're not going to
Oh
go
my
to. Some,
God!
I hope we're not going to go to a planet of
We're on the black
waves.
hole planet. No.
All right, so
Ooh.
add to my notes that we have not grasped for keys in the foyer.
If you kind of,
Yeah,
I mean,
we never even thought of trying that.
No.
right?
Well, we're still learning the system, and it's like
I mean, like
yeah.
it's also it's like it's a starting location.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is too that I think that so like part of it, what it comes down to is you all can also choose to grasp keys in the places where you kind of want what you're doing to be part of what's important, right? And so grasping a key with something related to Marcus is a good way to decide to have him be involved in the mystery somehow, right?
Yeah.
Like that sort of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Well, I
But
mean, like the first time we entered the library in the foyer, we were just like,
mhm.
"There's no sign that
Well,
anything weird is going on there."
yeah, I'll just say that I was very happy. I obviously this is our first session where we're just right into the mystery instead of having the setup stuff and we're all learning. But I felt like it went a lot smoother this time, and I'm looking forward to seeing the mystery ending stuff, like the Unlocked Doom story and how that plays out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
like, but we um do need to have an eating contest. Even if it's like after this,
Back at division.
like back at division when we're done, there needs like whoever's in like the office morale division needs to go, hey, wait a second, this
Oh,
could
Yeah,
be
but
fun.
listen.
how
Oh no,
many
that's it. The
how many
NPC
pies are
ending.
we going to need though? I mean, do enough
Well, it
exist?
doesn't always have to be pies.
I
Yeah,
know.
There could
because
be
we,
like
we do
who
have to
eats the
consider.
most and who eats the weirdest.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, and I've got that. I've got my
Now I'm imagining
Soma
the
Yukihara uh chef type person. Yeah, we can get some interesting things going.
now I'm imagining the shapeshifting contest between Lucifer and Dream in Sandman. Who can eat the weirdest instead of who can,
Nice. I love that. It reminds me actually of one of my favorite moments from The French Dispatch, one of the Wes Anderson's second most recent movie. There's a bit where there is a chef that, for long contrived story I won't get into, had to eat a recipe that he had himself poisoned on purpose. Like he knew there was poison in it, but had to eat it. But one of the things that he's reflecting on as he's kind of recovering from having consumed this poisonous stuff in it was it had a flavor, and it was just this recognition that like there's this new flavor profile that I've never been able to experience before, but I can't because it's toxic. So a cook who's like a customer who cannot be poisoned.
Yeah,
What flavors could you make for them
of,
that you couldn't normally make?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was actually part of my idea with the oh god, what name
Yeah.
did I give him?
It was I have it. It's Leighton something.
Leighton. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Leighton Thomas.
yeah,
Yeah.
the hey, wait. What can happen if they can't die or they have some other weird requests or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this could be fun.
Yeah.
well,
All right.
That's what Gerald got us for. He's the division's mental health HR department head. He wants to keep the morale up, so we got ourselves a hot dog eating contest. I'm sure that guy from New York is still around. He can do it. Yeah.
All right. So I think we're going to go ahead and leave our session tonight here, but we will be back next week for more adventure on so many levels.
So many levels.
Nom nom nom.
Eat all the levels. And all of the knowledge and books and machines and stellar detritus. All right, good
Yep.
night.